And good evening and welcome to the iRacing GT Sprint Series from Mount Panorama Circuit in Bathurst, Australia for our GT3 60-minute sprint race. I'm DJ Fluck and I am all by myself because Taka Timmerman is in Japan this week, so that is why he wasn't on the Tuesday night call. But Eric Richardson will be joining me here in a moment. Eric normally leads up our endurance team. We've got Mark Vickers and Hunter Hughes and Ian Miller and Colton Gardner, Derek Booker, Lucas Punarelli, and Tyler Vickery, with most of them are in attendance tonight. As I mentioned, Eric will be joining me here in the booth here in a moment. The Mount Panorama Circuit is all public roads, and it's been following the same configuration since 1987. You want to keep track of the S's, and coming downhill, especially at sunrise, the track is very hard to see. So we're going to see some in-car views later on in the session once the sun starts coming up. One of our differences we do here is that we run what we call an 8-time clock, which means that the real-time clock moves 8 times as fast, so you get through, essentially 8 hours in a 1-hour race. And so it's going to be starting the race here momentarily. We're going to be gridding here probably in the next 2 minutes or so. And we'll be running through late afternoon, running through the evening and the overnight hours. We'll see how this looks in the darkness, and hopefully we'll get some of that sunrise down the hill and see what kind of chaos that brings towards the end of our 60-minute session. So we'll meet the drivers, and in the meantime, let's check out a couple of things coming up here on Stadium Scene TV. First up, coming up, if you follow the NBA, you were shocked by the trades that occurred in the last week, especially with Luka Doncic unexpectedly being traded. Ooh, wow. Oh, off the wall. My word. I'm not sure who that was. We'll have to check on that in a little bit, but that was a awesome way to interrupt a commercial. So Luka Doncic was traded to the Los Angeles Lakers that he didn't even know, and well, there's a lot to break down. So Nick Zammit will be breaking it down on the Daily Dribble Monday at 5 p.m. Eastern right here on Stadium Scene TV. So drivers are going to be hitting the grid here momentarily, and let's change our view. Get our scoring box in place. Oh, what do we want to do? I'm going to go to this. Let's take a look at the static camera for now. Trevor Kratzer, who's the voice of Wednesday Night Dash, will be leading the field. But we'll meet the drivers once everybody comes out into the grid. Looks like we're going to have about 9 drivers tonight. So for those not familiar with our series, the purpose of this series is just to get some on-track time in a race environment in preparation for the official iRacing event. So coming up here in a couple of weeks will be the Bathurst 12 hours race on the iRacing platform, the official series. So what we do here is we do a 30-minute open qualification, which the drivers just completed. A 60-minute time sprint race. We don't do any we don't do points, we don't keep standings, there's no full course cautions, we don't have iRating limits, and anybody who wants to can come out and race with us on a given Friday night. So we'll show the schedule a little later on in the broadcast, but I think we are about to get moving here. We're projected about 29 laps tonight, and let's meet the field. So let's take a look here as we switch to the rear chase cam. Trevor Kratzer, the voice of Wednesday Night Dash, will lead the field, followed by Mark Vickers, who also you know from Wednesday Night Dash. Hunter Hughes, former broadcaster for Wednesday Night Dash, also current driver, consistent top finisher in the series, will be starting third. Ian Miller in the 48 will be starting 4th. Ian, you know from the Indy Racing World Series and has been in the Wednesday Night Dash Series previously. Derek Booker, who finished 4th in last week's race, Indy Racing World Series race on Tuesday night at Kentucky Speedway, will roll off 5th. Colton Gardner, our 2-time champion of Wednesday Night Dash, will be starting 6th in the Ford Mustang GT3. Dawson Buchanan, current defending champion of Wednesday Night Dash, will be rolling off 7. John Miles, who is a guest on FR Racing's Garage Talk, starting 8th. And Lucas Puntarelli will be rounding out the field in 9th. So, as we do our pace lap here. Must have missed something, but we're rolling. Looks like we had an abbreviated pace lap, so the drivers are underway here. Something happened with John Miles already. He's pulled off the track in his pit. Try to see if we can get a word with him later to see what happened there. Oops. Let's get the track map off the screen. Weather is currently about 21 degrees Celsius because we're in Australia, or about 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Track temperature 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Humidity a moist 70%, but there is a 0% chance of rain during our 60-minute race here this evening. Still a little puzzled about that start. Looks like John Miles is still in the pit. I'm not sure what happened there with him. Actually, I don't know why, but it's the timing keeps putting both Dawson and John as the same car. That's strange. All right, let's checking in with Ian Miller, currently sitting in 4th, chasing down Hunter Hughes for 3rd. Checking in here with Mark Vickers, driving car number 8 tonight. Usually we're used to seeing him in the 84, but different number, maybe bring him some luck here. Currently sitting about 1.9 seconds behind Trevor Kratzer, who's currently in 1st. Let's go on board with Mark. favorite part of this track coming up right here. Oh, and there goes Mark Vickers. Oh! And the announcer jinx. 5 minutes in. What a bummer. Oh, that's a bummer for Mark. So we can go back and catch that replay from Mark Vickers' perspective. It's a little hot. Yeah, Mark had been talking about this problem going down the hill all week, and it's just unfortunate that that caught him. But hey, this is the time to work it out. Ian Miller has inherited second place with Hunter Hughes about a second behind him, chasing him. Trevor Kratzer, on the other hand, has opened up a massive 10-second lead over Ian. Let's cycle through and check on the drivers. Mentioned currently Ian Miller and Hunter Hughes are battling for second place. Probably the most exciting battle on the track right now. Let's stick with them for a little bit here, actually. Hunter Hughes in the 18 unveiled the new iRacing Porsche GT3 livery for this event coming up here in a couple of weeks. Oh, and we got John Miles running into Ian, and there goes John Miles' front bumper. Ian continues on. Doesn't look like there's too much damage there, but Hunter moves into second. We'll have to keep an eye on Ian and see if that damage slows him down at all. Like that, the excuse me and the backwards on the front of the Hunter's car. I like that a lot. Let's take a look at Ian. Let's take a look at his front end. Maybe a little bit of damage. Yeah, a little bit of damage. See how it impacts his time. I mean, he's still within about 0.6 of a second of Hunter. Let's cycle through the field now. Heading down to fourth place, check on Lucas Puntarelli. Currently sitting about 20 seconds back of Ian and Hunter. And Derek Booker running the same paint as Hunter, so that could get a little confusing at time. Good looking paint though, really like that. Colton Garner in the Mustang GT3 currently in 6th. There's Dawson Buchanan. About 6 seconds behind, chasing him in 7th place. And there's announcer jinx number 2 of the evening. Actually, Ian and John Miles. That might count as one. Well, we're going to go ahead and give myself credit for that. So 3 announcer jinx here in the first 11 minutes of this race. So I'm on fire tonight, people. John Miles currently in 8th. Trevor Kratzer putting down a 205.904 that last time around. He is flying. And Mark Vickers looks like he may have pulled out for the evening. We're going to stay with Hunter and Ian because this continues to be the best battle on track. Yep, Mark Vickers has officially pulled out of the event. That's unfortunate. Doesn't look like the damage is hurting Ian very much. He's hanging right there with Hunter. All right, checking out the live chat this evening. I pulled up the stream just to make sure that it wasn't too loud, and so far so good, I guess. Chris Fuge accidentally slept through the alarm, so now he's got to watch him race without him. Sorry, Chris. And Garrett saying, when are we going to see you out there, DJ? Garrett, I don't know. I wouldn't bet on it anytime soon because, remember, I was born in central Indiana. I am genetically incapable of turning a race car to the right. I struggle enough turning left as it is, so don't make it too complicated for me. And there goes Ian. Oh, and Ian turns Hunter. Oof. Looks like because this is an exhibition, it looks like Ian just decided to wait up and let Hunter get back out there again. I mean, might as well. You're looking to get work in. You're going to be on the track with all sorts of people. As Hunter goes wide around the final turn. To the S's down the skyline is takes some nerves of steel to do that in real life, but man, it's a great view from the driver perspective. You can see headlights are coming on. Our real-time clock is pulling into the evening. Should be dark coming up pretty soon. is getting dark quick. Let's go on board with Hunter Hughes and watch. A little puzzled with our start this evening. I mean, it felt like it was a standing start, but it was definitely not set up for that. Fast race, yeah. Rolling start. That was strange. Okay, well, whatever. So at sunrise, the sun will be right in your eye at that spot, and it's pretty dangerous for drivers in real life, but we should be able to see a little bit of that before we get to the end of our race. We're approaching about 43 minutes to go in the event. It's projecting about 29 laps, and Trevor Kratzer is just running away with the field right now. I mean, his best lap, 205.904. And after that, you got some 209s, so it's significantly faster in the field right now. But a lot can happen in 40 minutes. So you're asking, how often do we do this event? Well, let's answer that for you. So Sebring's coming up on March 7th, and I can barely read that on my screen because I have it shrunk. We got the Nürburgring in May. We'll be doing Watkins Glen in June, Spa in late June, and then we'll skip over to August for Indianapolis, Road Atlanta, and then Suzuka in November. Early November. So we do these races about a week or two before the official event. Like I said, it's a chance to get some practice in a race type environment. We do the 8x clock, so and for the 12 and the 24-hour type events we do, just so you get a good variety. I mean, look at how dark it is, how quickly it turned dark. So we are in full night driving mode right now. But if you want to race with us, there's a link to the Discord in the description of this video. Or you can go to frracingonline.com, and at the bottom you'll see a link to the Discord. Join it, come on in and say, hey, I want to be a part of your GT Sprint series, and we'll add you to the private channel. We do these all as hosted events, so we post the hosted events in the private chat. All are welcome, doesn't matter your I rating, we don't keep standings. Yeah, we just want to have a variety of skill out there because, you know, you're in these official events, you'll see a variety of skill. So, good chance to get some practice in, and, you know, I broadcast it just for fun. I'm not a broadcaster, obviously, but I enjoy getting in the booth every once in a while and doing that. So, come on in, come race with us. Thanks again for tuning in this evening. Coming up next week, Indy Racing World Series return to Kentucky with Ian Miller winning the debut race, but we are heading to Richmond for the first time. I'll be back in the car for that event. Jackson Lambros will be filling in for Taka yet again. Taka will be getting back late next week, so he'll be picking up the series from Belle Isle onward. But you know, shout out to Jackson. You know, it was his debut. He's done ACC before with broadcasting. He's never done an iRacing broadcast before last week. he'd been on the iRacing platform for a week, but he's been doing broadcasting for about a year. IndyCar is his specialty, and he did a phenomenal job. I really appreciate him stepping in as our super sub. So you'll be hearing from him more as filling in for broadcasters as needed, and until we get him his own series, which we've got some things planned. Nothing to talk about yet, but we've got some things planned for down the road. Keep an eye on that. We'll be at Richmond for the first time, and a little bit of bump there for Hunter. And our flagship series, Wednesday Night Dash, Season 11, is moving on to Nashville Super Speedway this week. And after that, we'll have a week off before our traditional road course race. We usually give a week off for the road course, give you an extra week of practice, a lot of oval drivers. So having that extra week of practice has been very, very important for a lot of us. And heard some rumors we might have a driver filling in, kind of a road course ringer, Boris Said of the league, filling in that Watkins Glen race. So you won't want to miss that. And then the week after is our first trip to Martinsville, and I have hesitated putting Martinsville on the schedule just because it's difficult, it's small, just simple mistakes can ruin your day there. But our series is getting bigger. The driver skill is significantly stronger than it was when we first started, and I think it's time to take the risk and head to Martinsville for the first time. So we'll see how that goes. But tune in next week from Nashville Super Speedway. That's going to be a lot of fun as well. Trevor will be on the call for that. And most of these drivers outside of Derek and Ian should be in that race. All right. See what kind of battles we have going on. Still, this is our best battle, but we've got Derek chasing down Lucas Puntarelli. Oh, he almost caught him. Let's head out and see what this looks like at night. Looks like he caught Lucas because Lucas stopped. It's like he's flashing his brights. Oh, this is going to get tricky. And the good thing is I can clearly see the 54. I can't see much more than that. Pardon me. Didn't get to my mute button fast enough. There goes Trevor. Wow. Yeah, even in the dark, Hunter and Ian are still pulling pretty consistent lap times. Trevor's about 1/10 of a second slower than his best, even in the dark. So we cycle around the field again. Colton chasing Lucas, 1.7 seconds behind. We got John Miles in between him, who's a couple additional laps down. Hamilton around John Miles. Not for position. Got a clear path to Lucas in front of him for 5th place. Let's go on board with Trevor Kratzer. We're approaching the halfway point of the event. Looking at Trevor, he's a B license in the sports car series with a 3,907 I rating. Made 338 starts with 63 wins, 162 top 5, 72 poles, average finish of 8th. Corner, completes yet another lap. Let's see when the time comes in. 2:06.622. So Garrett, you have committed in the chat. He's committed to the spa race here this summer, so it's in the chat. And then good evening to Extreme 2X, who says, "Let's go, John." Speaking of John Miles was our guest this week on FR Racing's Garage Talk. The episode came out today. Search for FR Racing's Garage Talk wherever you download your favorite podcasts, including Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Catch that. Actually, if you're watching on Spotify, you can watch it as a video now too, which is really cool. The episode's on the FR Racing YouTube channel at FR Racing Online, and the replay will be airing right here on Stadium Scene tomorrow afternoon, Saturday at 2 p.m. Eastern, so don't miss that. John has a very similar startup story. It's just his started a couple years later, but he built out his team, you know, just like me and Eric, you know, longtime close friends, him and Jax, and you know, they started bringing in others. They built their team. They found our series about a year ago and has been racing with us ever since. And you can see him and his teammate Dawson Buchanan are out there this evening in the event. So, you know, got a chance to get to know him a little bit better and finally sit down with him. You know, he's an avid listener to the show, so it was a lot of fun, and hope you enjoy listening to it or watching it. About 29 minutes to go. At this pace, if Trevor holds his current pace, he may come close to lapping the entire field. With a 3,900 I rating, it's pretty darn good. Currently, Trevor, Ian, and Hunter are all 15 laps into this stint. It's been 15 laps so far. See if they stop anytime soon. Boy, it's a little hard to see. Let's head back. So as he's about to start his next lap, let's stay on board the entire lap and just watch him in action. Thanks again for tuning in this evening, everybody. It's Friday night, pushing Saturday morning on the East Coast, and glad you spent your evening hanging out with us. It's our third race of our live triple header this week, so it's only happened a couple of times where we've had a triple header. I think maybe twice before this. It's a lot of work to go in and prep for 3 broadcasts, and just you're managing the league, but you have a group of broadcasters. Like I said, with Trevor on Wednesday Night Dash, he does a phenomenal job, and Jackson filling in for Taka while he's in Japan on the Indy Racing World Series for these first 2 weeks. Again, another phenomenal job, and I have fallen way short of both of their marks, which is to be expected, but I'm okay with that. I'm still waiting for Eric Richardson to stop by. Earlier this week, iRacing posted this meme that was pretty funny. If you're in the iRacing community, if you do league racing, it said like, "Hey, why did you miss the league race this week?" And show the other person. Nope, Trevor, 2:05.546. Shaved almost a half second off his fastest lap there. But it said, "Hey, why'd you miss the league race?" And it says, "I have a kid." And speaking of that, hey, Lucas.
Howdy.
I was expecting Eric, but I think Eric's having a hard time getting his kid to bed. So
good. Well, I don't have a kid, so I don't have to worry about that.
Lucky you. I mean, I'm in trouble. Anyway.
Oh.
Welcome to the booth. Rough night?
Yeah, it's a bit hard to see when there's no track lights, so had a few trips to the pit, so I was like, I had to tow the car. So I'm like, while it's towing, might as well see what's going on in the booth.
It's pretty hard to see. We've been largely doing in-car views because you cannot see anything except the headlights and then the outline of the number on the side. So.
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping that we should be getting to sunrise before the end of this, and you'll get the sun right in your face as you're going down the S's. So
definitely.
That'll be exciting. Looking forward to blinding a few people on the broadcast.
The only track that's lit right now is just Ian, because Hunter's just been behind him the whole time.
Yeah, they've been. They've had quite a good battle.
Oh yeah, I wish I was up there, but immediately on lap 1,
so
going into turn 2, John Miles, he spun it.
I did catch that, actually. We did catch that on the broadcast. I have to ask about the start. So it's set to rolling start, but I feel like it wasn't a very long rolling start before the...
Yeah.
Was it?
I was gassing it out of the final corner when we went green, and I was the last car on the field.
You didn't do a full pace lap though, did you? Or was I asleep up here?
No, we didn't. We started on the back stretch.
That's what I thought. I was like, that seemed awfully short, but I did not select short parade lap, which is what confused me up here. And I'm talking through introducing the drivers. Next thing I know, I'm like, oh, we're racing here.
Yeah. Well, thank God, because I could imagine we probably would have had a few incidents going up the mountain. Doesn't the formation lap alone. That mountain section, that is crazy. That's tricky. Honestly, we don't have Monaco in iRacing, but that's probably the closest we'll get. Just going through that mountain section. It reminds me exactly like as if I'm going through Monaco. The elevation change, how close you are to the wall, and let alone, we're not even like in a Formula car. We're in a GT3 car, and it feels so fast.
Yeah, we were watching early on, and as Mark Vickers entered the skyline, he kind of bounced it a little bit and got a little squirrely and turned himself backwards and just backed right into one of the sidewalls there, and he took a tow and called it a night, and that's a bummer for him.
Oh no! Did he turn into that Mercedes during the real race?
No, it was just a rough entry.
Yeah, I thought I would have a lot of issues during Skyline. Apparently, not really. To be honest, the only issue for me is just like the entire mountain section going up. You can take it flat out with the right setup. You can take it completely flat, but I don't know, man. I still can't figure it out. I have like tiny lifts here and there. I'm not fully lifting, but I'm definitely not flat. I'll say I'm probably like 95% flat.
We've been watching just Trevor put on a clinic with the field right now.
Yeah, Trevor's crazy.
He's got a 3,900 I rating in sports car.
That's insane.
So I learned the hard way that iRacing does not. I swear it used to default to the type of car when it sets the I rating. But it doesn't anymore, like you have to select it, so it went in as Formula car, but I mean, since we don't set any ratings limits or anything like that, it doesn't really matter, but...
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I saw that when I logged in, that caught me off guard. I was like, oh, okay, but it doesn't matter at the end.
Yeah, before it's like you would select the car type and it would default to it, but you have things like IndyCar, which does both Formula, the road courses, and looks like Ian's coming in for a pit stop.
Yeah. Funny, my pit strategy, I did the math. It should be about 27 to 30 laps this race. So I set my fuel tank from the beginning to about 32 laps. And that was just based on the estimated amount of fuel from the iRacing thing. And after 3 laps of racing, it calculated correctly, and I really had about 17 laps of fuel. So I was definitely not going to do that with 0 stops. But it didn't matter anyway, because after a few incidents, I had to come into the pits for different reasons.
So I have to ask you this week, you went through Pocono on Wednesday. How was your experience out there? Rough night for a lot of drivers.
Yeah. Literally on lap 3, I immediately, who was it? I want to say, not John Miles, I think it was one of the cars, but someone, I think it was him in another Mustang. I was behind them coming out of turn 3, going up to the second lap, and they got pushed, like, on turn 3, that wall, it, like, closes in, actually. It's not completely flat. Mm-hmm. Yeah, someone got pushed into that, so they lost a lot of speed. And because of that, I'm right behind them. I rear-ended them, and that sent me into the inside, onto the pit wall. And I got damaged from that. Luckily, no meatball, but I was just doing that entire half first stage of the race with a broken alignment, so my wheel was just crooked until we pitted. So that's why I was going backwards, and all the midfield cars and back markers were able to just easily pass me. I was just crawling until we pitted. Luckily, at least I got a top 10.
I had I had a rough night, despite the fact I didn't wreck, but I got slowed down by a pretty big wreck and almost had to come to a complete stop to avoid it. And you kill all your momentum out there, and you lose that pack, you're gone, you're hosed. And this happened probably 5 laps into the second stint, and so I'm battling for like 15th and 16th place, despite the fact I kept my car largely in one. There's some
yeah,
scrapes,
that's the thing with Pocono. It's definitely pack racing style. Like, if you're away from the pack, you're not going to catch them. You need to be in that pack to stay with them, or else you're just running alone. But I honestly expected a huge crash going to turn 1, lap 1. I was very surprised that a majority of us made it through.
And just there's so many different ways you can take turn 1 at Pocono. And and then on cold tires, coming off a pace lap, you've got we had 22 cars in the race last night. And there were a couple very, very close calls watching the replay, but somehow everybody made it through. I had to go super high on the outside to avoid a couple early breakers, but I survived somehow. It's just, it's a tough place, and we ended up having to issue a rules clarification today for, there was some, we'll call it unsafe moments on the track. There was an accident where a driver went to, they spun and they went to get off the track and kind of went back around to go take their fast repair and just veered right in front of 3 or 4 cars, including myself. No. Fortunately missed everybody, but there was some unhappy radio chatter about the move, and I'm not singling anybody out, but it just it's a reminder. Just I said, use your relative telemetry. Please use your mirrors. Just do what you need to. If you need to say, hey, I'm turned backwards on the turn 3 wall, I'm staying up here, stay low. Communicate that to the other drivers, and it's just a reminder. It's there's a variety of skill, there's a variety of experience. Some people just they're not familiar with say the etiquette. So it's what we do. We try to make sure that people learn, they get experience. Mistakes will happen. Don't worry about it. It was close.
You think there'll be a penalty for them next race?
No. It's just a friendly warning. There was at least one incident, maybe a second one wasn't as egregious, but right now it's just a broad. Like, let's remember, guys. Let's keep this in mind. But if you did cause an accident, it is a protestable offense. It is a violation of the iRacing sporting code. So it's just lessons learned. No harm, no foul at the moment. All right, we're 21 minutes left, and Trevor pulled another fastest lap.
What did he do now?
A 2:05.468.
That's crazy.
That's just insane. And just watching him here, I'm like, it's very, very obvious he knows every inch of this track. Like, there's moves he's making where I'm cringing because I think he's going to brush the wall, and he just doesn't. And he's got that level of comfort. He's got that experience that he knows he's not going to brush the wall. Like right here, as he's going up the mountain, I mean, he's up against the wall.
Completely flat. Oh. I think he scraped the wall there a bit.
A little bit. Announce jinx. That's number 4 for the evening.
Tiny lift through there. Okay, so him lifting there makes me feel better because I also lift through there. I was watching an esports lap, and they took this completely flat out, the entire mountain.
I just look at like some of the telemetry, on Garage 61. Oh, there he goes! Oh, fortunately, he's got nobody That's a tough spot to turn get turned around.
McQueen blew a tire.
Let's see what we can see on the replay. Probably not much, but let's check out the Stadium Scene TV instant replay. Yep, a little bit of a brush of the wall, and round he goes. And then,
definitely due to visibility, I'll say.
Yeah. It's
like the kink right here earlier when it was pitch black. You cannot see it coming up on you at all. The first lap under pitch black for me, I saw it last minute and almost went off track. So, thank goodness, majority of the 12-hour race is going to be during the daytime. Even at the start, there will be some light from the sun anyway.
I'm looking through the YouTube chat right now. So Garrett has committed to the spa race. And Trevor's
24-hour spa?
Yep. Well, I mean, for our 60-minute sprint race, he'll be joining us for that. Trevor's typing in the chat. He wrote,
crazy.
Was on a good lap. Oh, man, that's great. Wasn't expecting to look down at the YouTube chat and see the driver leading this event participating in the live chat.
He could take a full pit stop right now, full service, and still be in the lead.
Yes. Yeah, he's got about a minute and 15 on Hunter. Ian made a stop, but Hunter has not. Got about 11 minutes left. I may have not timed this right.
It says an hour.
It looks like it's that right before dawn kind of feel to it, so maybe we will get a little bit of sunrise in here, and I guess the amount of overcast will also determine what that looks like.
Imagine if there's rain during the 12-hour race.
Oh. Rain being the star of the Daytona 24 this year, the iRacing Daytona 24 at least.
You know, you guys chose the only session that had rain. All the other sessions didn't have any rain.
You've got to be kidding me. The track was wet for like 17 hours.
Yeah, every other session was completely dry.
You've got to be kidding me.
Your time slot was the only one that didn't have rain. Or that, yeah, that's what I mean.
That figures.
Your time slot was the one with rain. All the other ones were completely dry. Maybe because it was the broadcasted one, so...
Oh, yeah. Okay, well, that makes sense.
They chose that one to spice it up.
Yeah, and then, then on top of all the rain, this was the first year... Watching the broadcast, that was the first year for rain in an official iRacing Daytona 24, but they also have the dynamic debris system, and we're just kind of like, this track, we're only like an hour into this, and this track is a mess. It's like you needed the rain to wash it all away.
Gonna need the pace car to come out and pull out the sweepers.
Yeah, there's no full course yellow, so no sweeper. As we're inside of 10 minutes to go. Pretty widely spaced out.
Really curious, did Hunter actually manage to do a full tank for the race?
He's gonna be close.
He has not pitted yet.
And neither is Trevor.
That is true.
And I went back and I didn't get to rewatch all of of Wednesday Night Dash this week, but kind of skimmed through just a couple of key moments, and I watched the finish, and Dawson won by a half a second, but Colton was right there entering turn 3. He just had kind of a bad exit out of 3.
Yeah, turn 3, it was the exit. It's like, it was weird. And turn 3 was, not turn 3, but Pocono in general, the overall track, that was big on tires. I knew that was going to be a struggle. I was just thinking about my tires that entire race.
See, my problem, too, that I consistently make this mistake is that, like, I do such a poor job qualifying because I drive in, like, tire save mode all the time and just get stuck in the back, and, I struggle to work my way forward. And I do a really, really good job with tire saving, but the problem is, like, I'm so far back at the end and maybe waited a little too long to start pushing it. And I looked at my lap times last night, and my fastest laps were like the last 5 laps of the race. I'm like, oh, I need to like not do that, but I keep doing it. Just some stupid mental thing I have to get over.
At least you kept it clean.
Can't say that about every week, but yes indeed.
Yeah. There you go. Yeah, tire save, like, was it when we were at Kansas? That was definitely, I guess, my highlight of my Wednesday Night Dash short career. Leading the race, and it's not a super speedway.
Ooh.
I was like, oh, I'm actually beating Buchanan for once.
Yeah,
and then my tires dropped. Yeah, my tires dropped immediately, and I finished that race in 10th, I believe. I think you were like right behind me at the end as well.
Yeah, I chased you down, and I just missed out right at the end.
My tires were gone. Like, from that race, that's where I learned my lesson. I have to take care of my tires. But that was fun being at the front.
Yeah, I was talking to Eric 2 weeks in a row. He gets dumped early on in the race, but he managed to, it was early enough, and he managed to stay on the lead lap, so he, no harm, no foul in the end. But Kansas, it happened later where he got dumped. And I was calling it about 4 to go with about 6 minutes and 50 seconds to go.
There we go.
This is our reminder: the Indy Racing World Series heads to Richmond Raceway for the first time. That is a little nervous about that one. I'm not gonna lie.
The official servers, they were there a couple of weeks ago. I want to say 2 weeks ago. I did not do a single session. I should have. Would have been good practice.
I mean, I'm pretty happy with my practice times around the track. It's just, we got a question. It's like, does it drive like Iowa? No, it does not drive like Iowa. And hopefully people don't try to drive it like Iowa. Otherwise, it's going to be a rough night for some people.
Do not drive like Iowa. Got it.
Yep, we're going to go to Richmond on Tuesday night. We're going to be at Nashville Super Speedway on Wednesday night. So we got back-to-back racing next week. And then our dreaded trip to Belle Isle, which I'm
can't wait for that.
Not looking forward to at all.
I'm looking forward to that. One race I'm looking forward to in Wednesday Night Dash is Atlanta.
Under the lights. iRacing under the new Atlanta configuration. Well, Atlanta, period. They finally introduced lights at the track in iRacing. So we're going to be under super speedway rules for that event with cautions and a green-white checker and under the lights. So that's...
Super speedways are definitely my strong suit.
I mean, it's like super speedways are just so like mentally exhausting. And anytime we finish a super speedway race, I finish and I just kind of sit there and I'm just like, I feel like I just did like 45 minutes on the exercise bike.
Oh. No, every time I finish Super Speedway race, I'm like, and I don't win, I'm like, damn, I should have like, I timed my exit wrong on, or pulling out a draft this and here and there. Like, I could have gotten it. Like, I took the lead on the last lap, going into the last lap, so we had a caution that last lap. That win would have been mine, but nope. And then I thought people were gonna push me to the end, but that did not happen at all.
Yeah, lost your help.
Yep. Ooh, Trevor bit in the wall. He's okay.
He's moving on. He's on his way. We're in the last 3 minutes. We'll see if we can get some of the other drivers to hop in here and give their thoughts post race.
I could hop in the car if I want to.
Oh, you got 3 minutes and 14 seconds left. Yeah, outside of Trevor's one little oops moment, he's really put on a clinic tonight.
I'm gonna race Trevor.
Hanging out here for the last like 20 minutes and you're still sitting in 6th.
I can catch Sean. He's only 7 laps ahead of me. Uh-oh. Seeing that blue flag is very intimidating.
Especially here.
He is on me. Like, how?
Yeah, we're watching this in real time. So Lucas is in the booth here, and that is him in the green car as well. So he is, we've got live car comments, sorry.
Crazy.
Oh, we got that.
That drop right there, it literally feels like you're falling.
We saw the, yeah, all the sparks under your car there. We got it.
And just like that, he's already 2 seconds off.
Wednesday Night Dash driver Lane Snow stopping by the chat this evening. Good evening, Lane. Thanks for tuning in on this Friday night. It's like go to my FM DJ voice there, apparently.
Your name is DJ.
It is.
That's your legal name?
It is not. I am legally a David. I'm legally a David. My father's name is David. His father's name was David. His father's name was David.
Nice.
And then,
I like that.
then I snapped the streak, and I have 2 girls. So, but my brother had a kid last fall, and gave the David name for his middle name. So the David name lives on. No thanks to me.
There we go.
All right, we are on our final lap.
Oh, Colton. Okay.
Do we need to cut back and watch?
Looks like he was just letting me by, that's all. Thought he was at a lose going up the mountain because he was braking, and you shouldn't be touching your brakes at all when you go up the mountain.
Over the curb there for you. let's head over, watch Trevor. Well, it looks like we didn't get sunrise. Apparently I can't do math, which is nothing new. Alright. As Trevor heads to the chase for the last time, heading over to Murray's corner one last time and crossing the finish line. Trevor Kratzer, the voice of Wednesday Night Dash, takes the win.
Like over a minute, and the fastest lap, the last lap.
So Ian caught up with Hunter, and this is going to be
Let's see that fight.
about 9/10 of a second. Hunter is behind Ian. So we've got the battle for second here.
Oh, when did Ian go through? When he passed?
Yeah, he passed. He caught up to Hunter. I think Hunter was doing a little bit of fuel saving. His time started to drop off a little bit. He was about 4 seconds slower than what he typically had been running. And yeah, Ian stopped for service and caught him again. So Ian Miller's pulled ahead with a 2-second lead.
Looks like on lap 28. Yeah, going through the kink.
Yep, heading through
got
the
him.
kink. One last time. Looks like this will be the last of the drivers. And Ian Miller heading the final turn. Comes around and secures second place. Hunter Hughes just behind him, completing for third. All right. And I believe that should do it for this evening. So let's take a look at our final results. Trevor Kratzer takes the win in the Acura, followed by Ian Miller. And Hunter Hughes, as everybody's burning it down. Colton Garner and the Mustang finishes fourth. John Miles in the Lamborghini fifth. Lucas Puntarelli, thank you, Lucas, for stopping by the booth and actually hanging with us as he was driving towards the end. Finishes sixth. Derek Booker seventh. Dawson Buchanan eighth, and Mark Vickers ninth. So we'll take this off the screen here. As Ian Hunter burning it down.
Hopefully we're doing that in 2 weeks' time.
That will be nice. We're
I
still
love that design that Hunter made.
still firming up the schedule for the event, which session we'll be in, and I think the plan is still, I'm not covering the full 12-hour race, but we should at least have some of that. Maybe we'll get in for the last hour or two. We'll have to talk to Taka. And let's take a look at the booth. Hunter Hughes, good evening.
Good evening.
That was something. You can't see a thing on my screen right now. It is. I'm just gonna have to put up the results here because all you see is the iRacing logo in the corner. So that's
Yes, the beautiful countryside of Mount Panorama. There's no lights at all.
you can kind of see some tree outline now if your screen's bright enough. But Ian Miller joining us, gentlemen. That driving in the dark, that was pretty wild.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was gnarly.
It's we were watching Trevor, who he's a 3900 I rating, driving through there, and oof,
Oh,
man,
that explains it.
yeah, yeah. He and we just kept watching the fastest lap pop up, and he ended up running a 205.245 in like his 27th lap or something, something
Yeah,
insane like
his
that.
last lap. Yeah.
Yeah, he was just flying out there. But so what are your thoughts leading up to the official event here in a couple weeks?
Patience is gonna be key. You know, um, I tend to run the opening stint, and those tend to be the busiest, to put it bluntly. And so just being patient, keeping the nose of the car clean is going to be a lot more important than pace, probably. So just get a good qualifying lap and keep the nose of the car clean.
Can't win on the first lap.
Nope. Man, we were putting on a show there for a while.
Oh,
Yeah, you guys were at it.
Oh yeah, you two had the best battles of the night. Yeah, we spent a majority of the time following you, and once it got dark, we had to switch to in-car for most of the time. Otherwise, it was just outlines of headlights.
I think
Yeah,
that was 20 minutes of battling.
Oh, it was the entire race.
Yeah.
I mean, until I pit, and I just pit to repair the car because when I nailed John in the downhill section, it just the car kept getting more and more understeery, and I'm like, you know what? If I'm keeping up with you with a damaged car, I bet I can catch you with a fast car. Just hope I gave myself enough time, and luckily I did, just barely.
Yeah, well, with 2 laps to go, the Falcon tires got me, and I broke my left front tire. So I was just
Ooh.
limping it around for the final 2 laps.
It was it was quite a battle all evening with you two. It just phenomenal job out there. That was tough, but this is like we invite people to come on out and race with us. We don't have any iRacing limits. We don't keep standings. It's just get yourself out there, get a 60-minute sprint race, and get some practice in. So, gentlemen. Oh, wait, actually, Colton Garner joining us here. So we'll get a quick word with him before we wrap it up. So, Colton, good evening.
Hello.
How was your Mount Panorama experience, especially in the dark?
That was interesting for sure. Still not sure about right turns. I just tried to keep it clean and, not wreck it, but I did. So, yeah, I felt like I just got tired. It's very interesting, very challenging. Everything I knew it would be. But all in all, like, it was so much fun to be able to do that and try and get better at this road race and stuff.
It's just a different experience when you're driving around at night with no track lights out there.
Oh yeah, and all you got's the ones in front, and feels quite lonely.
And we're also joined here by the voice of Wednesday Night Dash and this evening's winner, Trevor Kratzer. Good evening, Trevor.
Good evening.
We've got reverse roles here, so
Yeah.
Yeah, you were absolutely flying out there this evening. And how much time have you spent on this track? I have to ask.
The last night was my first time since probably the 12-hour last year.
Okay,
And
but
I
you have
just did a couple
you have participated in the 12-hour though.
Yes. Yeah, twice.
Okay, yeah, it definitely looked like you knew your way around. As far as like your advice especially at nighttime when it's dark out there and almost have to trust your instincts that you know where you are. What's your advice to somebody driving in that event for the first time at night?
Just keep it off the wall. No incidents, because any incidents here, it's a 2x because you're going into the wall. Obviously, you want that the whole race, but especially during the dark periods.
It's but it's I saw you had a couple of brush ups here towards the end, but overall,
Yeah, I was on quick laps, so I was pushing, and then obviously didn't turn out how I expected it. So.
And then the best part is I look down and I'm looking at the YouTube chat, and then all of a sudden I see your name pop up. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah, that was after I spawned on the straight. I was just listening. So
It's just that was a tough spot to spin too, where it was like that scene from Austin Powers where he's trying to turn the golf cart around in the tunnel. same energy there.
yeah.
Awesome, gentlemen. Congratulations on finishing the 60 minutes tonight, and for those participating in the 12-hour event here in a couple of weeks, best of luck to you.
Thank you.
So,
Thank
Gotta
you.
do that 11 more times.
yes, that
Sweet.
was
More
hour
practice
one.
sessions.
So, real quick, coming up on Stadium Scene TV next week, Indy Racing World Series heading to Richmond Raceway for the first time. So, tune in Tuesday at 10 p.m. Eastern. Wednesday Night Dash, Trevor will be on the call for that from Nashville Super Speedway. So, we've got 2 events next week. A lot of fun. Should have some good racing, and hope you tune in. All right, since Eric didn't show up tonight, I won't give him any credit for that. But I guess for myself, DJ Fluck, thank you for tuning in, and enjoy your weekend.